Okay guys, what we have here is a 2018 Toyota Prius, and today I need to rotate the tires on this. So I'm going to be jacking up the car from the middle, and I'm going to show you guys how to do that. I figured I might as well make a video on it. This car sits very low to the ground, so you are going to need a low profile jack if you do this. And today I'm going to be using the Daytona low profile long reach 3-ton jack right here. So let's go ahead and get started. So these are the tools I'll be using today. I have a low profile jack, I have a breaker bar, I have an impact gun, although you don't need that. You can just use a socket if you have a breaker bar. I have a 21mm socket and wheel chocks, jack stands, and a flathead screwdriver to take the hubcaps off. And I have the Prius owner's manual, so we're going to take a look inside and see what the jack points are. So here we have the handbook right here, positioning a floor jack, and this is for the front. So we know what to look for. It looks like there's 3 bolts in the middle, and we're looking for that middle piece. And then for the rear, we're looking for this piece that drops down. It looks like a triangular shaped cone. So now that we know what the front and rear jack points look like, let's go jack the car up. The first thing that you want to do is make sure that you have your emergency brake on, which it is. Make sure that's pushed down. After you put the emergency brake on, you want to chalk the wheels. So come to the back tires. Here's the wheel chocks, and just slide it under there. So this car sits really low to the ground, so I'm going to jack it up from the side first, and then use the Daytona jack to jack it up from the middle, because I really can't see the jack point right now because it's so low to the ground. Alright, the first thing we're going to do is loosen the lug nuts while it's on the ground. So we'll use the breaker bar to loosen the lug nuts. This lug nut won't move, so I'm going to get an extension to put on the breaker bar, and that should break it loose. I'm just using PVC pipe that I had lying around. If you need to make your breaker bar longer, like I said, you can use PVC pipe or just anything that's strong enough that won't break to make your breaker bar longer. And this is how you take the hubcap off if you have hubcaps. You see these little slots right here? You just want to get something thin like a flathead screwdriver and just stick it in there. Just stick it in there and pop it out. And now we'll loosen the lug nuts on this side too with the breaker bar. And when you loosen the lug nuts, you want to make sure that you go in a star pattern. So I just did this one. So then I would do this one next, and this one, and this one, and then this one. You always want to loosen the lug nuts across from each other. You don't want to do like them right next to each other. So it's a star pattern basically. So this one was the one I just loosened. So now we're going across from it. And now we're going across from that one. Guys, I know this angle really sucks, but this garage is really small. Like super duper small, so you're just gonna have to bear with me. So I'm just trying to show you the spot. You come to the side of the car, the wheel's right here, just to give you an idea where the wheel is. And you need to find the pinch weld, which is right here, to jack it up from the side. So it's actually like underneath of the car, and it's this thing right here, okay? This ridge right here. So I'm going to use this piece on the pinch weld. And if you have a smaller jack pad, just make sure you don't want any metal to metal contact. So you can watch the other video that I made on how to put like a felt type material like this on it, so it won't move when you're jacking up the car. See, that piece is metallic, so it just clips right on there and it just stays there. Okay, so that's what it looks like. Sorry about the angles, guys. It should be placed directly in the center of the jack pad. Now you can see it's 1, 2, 3 bolts, and it gets jacked up on the middle bolt. I'll try to get another shot. Matter of fact, I'm going to take the jack down so you can see better. So it gets jacked up on this middle bolt right here. This is the one near the tire. That's the middle one it gets jacked up on. And then the third one is all the way over there. So it gets jacked up on this big middle bolt right there, okay? 1, 2, 3. So now you know where to jack it up at. I'm gonna put the jack back up there, just in case the jack stands fail. Then once you got it jacked up high enough, take your jack stands, place them underneath of the car. Right under the pinch weld, which is right here. Okay. And now you want to slowly let the jack down. Now we're going to finish taking this front wheel off, and we're going to slide it up underneath of the car. So we'll just have an extra layer of protection in case something fails. Kick the tire off if it's stuck. Slide the tire right by the jack stand. We're on the right side of the car, the passenger side, so the rear passenger side tire comes off and comes to the front passenger side tire, and the front passenger side tire will go to the rear passenger side. So the tires get changed on the same exact side. And you don't need this jack to do this. You can use the jack that comes with the car that should be in the trunk. I'm just using this jack because it's faster. And before I jack this car up, you always want to remember to loosen your lug nuts. So I'm going to loosen the lug nuts first before I jack it up. If you can't kick it off, you might need to get a hammer. So get a heavy duty mallet like this one and just hit all around the wheel. Make sure you don't damage your rim. And it's loose and it came right off. So now this tire goes on the front. And now the tire that's underneath of the car, right here, this goes on the back. And we're going to put that one on first because the only thing we have supporting the back of the car right now is that jack, okay? We don't have any jack stands on the back, so we want to hurry up and put the rear tire on. Line the holes up with the studs. Start the lug nuts by hand. Okay, now I'm going to take the impact gun, and I'm not going to like torque it down. It's super strong. I'm just going to go slow. See how slow and controlled I'm going? You want to make sure that the tire is pushed all the way back. See how it's wobbly? Go in a star pattern. Definitely want to make sure it's sitting all the way back. I'm going to take my ratchet and tighten it up while it's still in the air. And I just want to hand tighten it because this impact gun isn't like the greatest. Okay, now we can lower the jack. And we're going to tighten those lug nuts again on the ground and torque them. Slowly let the jack down. And now we basically need to do the same thing for the front. Put the lug nuts on by hand. Then I take the ratchet and just hand tighten it. See how much tighter that got? So now this side is done. So I'm going to do the same thing to the other side. I'm not going to tape it so I can just fly through it. And then once I lower the car, I will torque the lug nuts to the specified torque specifications, whatever that is. Okay, so the other side is now finished. And now we can drop the car to the floor. So I have to jack it up, remove the jack stands, and then we can drop it to the floor. The jack stands are now gone. Now I can drop the car to the floor. Obviously you can't drop this car on this jack. You will need to jack it up from the side because the jack is stuck. It won't come out. Okay, so I jacked the side of the car up. So now the jack should be able to come out without any problem. So just know if you are jacking it up from the middle, you will not be able to lower it without lifting it up from the side first. Okay, much better. Now I'll lower the side. Now I'm going to tighten all the lug nuts. Make sure you go in a star pattern. All the lug nuts have been tightened, so we need to torque everything to spec. So I looked up the torque specs online for this car, and it says it's 76 foot-pounds, but I'm going to go with 90 just to be on the safe side. So here's my torque wrench right here. I got it from Harbor Freight. So if you don't know how to use a torque wrench, you can just, there's plenty of videos on YouTube, just look it up how to use it. I'm going with 90 for me. That's just what I want to do. It just makes me feel better. So I have it set to 90 foot-pounds. And basically you just keep going until you hear a click. You tighten it until you hear a click. And that's how you know you're at 90 foot-pounds. And there's the click. Go in a star pattern. There's the click. There's the click. Just checking everything. Okay, so this wheel is done. So basically, you want to do that for all 4 wheels, and then put your hubcaps back on, and then you're all set. Don't forget to take the wheel chocks off of the car. Mine are stuck, so I'm going to have to back the car up slightly because I can't get them out. And this is for the people that need guidance putting their hubcaps on. What you want to do is, you see this thing, the valve stem right here, right? And then if you have hubcaps like mine, you see this little wire thing, right? You basically want to put the wire thing behind the valve stem like this. Okay? So the wire goes behind that, and then everything just snaps in. Sorry about the angle, guys, but there's no room in here. Everything just snaps in like so. And it snaps in just like that. And this is why you want to get your tires rotated. These were the tires that were on the front. They're now in the rear. So you take your tread checker and you see it's in the yellow. So it's like 50 or 40% tread left. So yeah, it's like 50 or 40% tread left. And now if we go to the front, these were the tires that were on the rear. If we go to the front, these were the tires that were on the back. These tires are in the green. They have like 80% tread left. So these tires should have been rotated a long time ago. But now that the newer ones are in the front, they'll wear more evenly now. So, because the front tires always tend to wear out quicker than the rear tires because they turn. So that's why you want to rotate your tires.